In my video, Proof the Bible is the Word of God Part 1, I mentioned that I got into a back and forth with a Mr. Adam Skeptic on Twitter. By the way, follow me on Twitter for political opinions as well as daily Bible quotes. Anyway, I left out that I also got into an argument with this individual named Paul Garrett. Now, Paul is one of these atheists who really cares what other people believe. He can't stand the idea of someone having a different opinion than himself. So he goes on Twitter to make fun of a Christian museum for wanting to promote a workshop grandparents can bring their grandchildren to. Because he doesn't believe in the existence of God, anybody that promotes that idea must be taken down. I wouldn't be surprised if he's the one who's been disliking all my videos. So that is the context of this conversation, and I'm going to continue to give context as I read this. So Paul here says, quote, crying laughing emoji, no, it is a fantasy theme park, talking about the Creation Museum, where people and dinosaurs happily interact. The reality is that dinosaurs and humans are separated by 63 million years. I love when people say things so confidently when they have no idea what they're talking about. Did this guy perform his own experiments? How does he know that humans and dinosaurs were separated by 63 million years? Was he there? So I replied with, quote, oh really? I didn't realize I was talking to somebody that was 63 million years old. My mistake. Now obviously, I know he isn't 63 million years old. I am making a point that this person is repeating a number that was pulled out of somebody's ass, some scientist, like it's a fact. Once again, they tell you the Earth is millions of years old, you accept it. They tell you dinosaurs are real, you accept it. And if they tell you to jump, you ask how high. So his response was, quote, that's fine. I assumed you were not 6,000 years old either. We see in this comment he's being snide, insinuating that I know for a fact that the Earth is 6,000 years old. I acknowledge that the Earth could be as old as 10,000 years, but does Paul here have any doubt about the age of the Earth? Of course not. If he had an open mind to new evidence, he wouldn't be saying stuff like this. So I responded with, quote, ooh, good comeback. Still didn't address my point. Gotta shift that burden of proof. If you look at his response to my comment, you can see that he didn't actually address what I had said. He instead attempted to shift the question onto me instead of answering it. This is a common debate tactic atheists use when losing a discussion. Continues with him talking about isotopes and a bunch of other nonsense. We get into it over dinosaur bones being found next to human bones, and I drop this bombshell. Quote, do I have to spell it out for you? At this point, I'd made several statements alluding to what I'm about to say next, and he still wasn't taking the hint. So I decided to say as bluntly as I could, quote, the reason they haven't found human bones next to dino bones is because they aren't real. Now, all of this is a roundabout way of saying that is why this video is being made. In this video, I'm going to clarify my opinions on dinosaurs, so there's no confusion. This statement may have been a tad bit over-exaggerated to get my point across. Do I really believe that dinosaurs didn't exist? Of course not. But do I believe that giant T-Rexes and Brachiosauruses ruled the Earth for millions of years? No, I don't. In fact, I highly doubt either of those species ever even existed. Let me provide my evidence to doubt the claim of the dinosaurs. Evidence 1. There is no evidence for dinosaurs. All of the fossils of dinosaurs are fake. If you go to a museum to look at dinosaur bones, what you'll usually find is a bunch of plastic bones attached in elaborate ways to give the appearance of a fantastical creature. But when you actually try to look up the evidence for these creatures, you have a very difficult time. Never once has a complete skeleton of any of these dinosaurs been found. And if you talk to someone who has a little intellectual honesty, they'll most likely say, well, we have found over 90% of a single specimen. And when you ask them, is it 100%? They get angry and start acting like it's somehow dumb to want a complete skeleton before we can actually determine what it really looked like. But let's expose these people directly for the frauds that they are. Evidence 2. Archaeologists are unreliable. I found this list by Bitter Empire. It is called 5 dinosaurs that have never existed. I'm just going to read off the dinosaurs that have been confirmed not to exist at all. Brontosaurus. Yeah, did you really need me to tell you that this one didn't exist? Did you idiots really believe that an animal this large could actually exist? What a joke. Triceratops. I'm sure a lot of little kids out there are going to be real disappointed when they find out their favorite dinosaur isn't real. Archaeoraptor. I bet a lot of evolutionists are going to be very angry when I point out to them that this one doesn't exist. Evolutionists love to cite this as their proof that dinosaurs sprouted wings and became birds. Even if this animal did exist, it wouldn't be proof of that ridiculous theory. But regardless, this animal doesn't even exist. Evolutionists don't have a leg to stand on. Tesaurus, a flying reptile? Give me a break. Hadrosaurus, funny looking guy, isn't he? God would have never made such an ugly creature. An animal like this could only come from the disgusting imagination of man, and indirectly influenced by Satan himself. So as you can see, archaeologists are quick to announce that they have discovered a new dinosaur, and it takes years before they can be discredited as frauds. And when they are finally exposed, it's usually long after they are dead, and it's suppressed deep within the daily news cycle, so the powerful can maintain their profits. Speaking of which, evidence 3, motive. This quote is from a blog post that I found called Dinosaurs Are Not Real, and I can prove it, which a link to this page will be left in the description. After this, I'm going to read another post, but I wanted to say this before I read these two excerpts. I'm not saying that these are the prime motivations for lying about the existence of dinosaurs. What I am saying is, I found multiple sources that propose a credible explanation for the motivation of such an elaborate conspiracy. So I'll read these, and at the end I will give my thoughts. Dinosaurs never existed. They were made up by people who wanted to travel the world and needed an excuse from the government for funding. I'm almost 100% certain that a liberal was in office when archaeologists became a profession. It is almost as respectable as being a climatologist, whereas we watch the weathermen women be wrong in predicting weather 3 days in the future. We have people who watch patterns over a long period of time and try to predict it. So they don't know the weather at the end of the week, but can tell me what it'll be like in June. Hot, I'm sure. This is from a website called Dinosaurs Are Fake. After inventing dinosaurs, which they claim are big green animals with odd shapes and large teeth, opportunistic merchants have made billions upon billions of dollars from their invention. Jurassic Park has made billions from mediocre dinosaur movies. Billions of dollars of assorted dinosaur books have been sold. Billions of dinosaur toys have been sold, brainwashing kids into believing that the big lizards are real. They are fake. Museums have charged billions for admission to see fake dinosaur bones. Dinosaur cartoons have made billions of dollars. An entire industry sprang up around these fake animals. It was employed from the start to take your money and destroy your sanity. The dinosaur hoax has made over $1 trillion since its invention in 1842. After I read these statements, I decided to look into it myself and find out just how much the dinosaur industry is worth. This is what I discovered. First, I added up all the profits of the Jurassic Park movies, but I figured why stop there? Why not add up all the money made from movies that included or at least mentioned dinosaurs? So this is the amount of money all the Jurassic Park movies made. It's a little over $5 billion, as we can see here. Now that's a decent chunk of change, but let's continue. Land Before Time, $84 million. Dinosaur, $349 million. The Good Dinosaur, that's ironic, $333 million. King Kong franchise, $1.216 billion. Godzilla franchise, $1.376 billion. Night at the Museum, what a joke, $1.335 billion. Ice Age Pentology, $3.179 billion. The Flintstones, $417 million. Land of the Lost, 2009, $69 million. We're Back, A Dinosaur Story, $9 million. Theodore Rex, $33 million. Carnosaur, $1 million. Walking with Dinosaurs, $126 million. Meet the Robinsons, $170 million. Journey to the Center of the Earth, $561 million. And the Transformers series, $4.846 billion. So altogether, that is over $19 billion on just a handful of movies alone. Not to mention the merchandise for these movies and the sequels and reboots that are sure to make even more money. But that's just movies. What about other industries? Are they profiting off of the existence of dinosaurs? Just go into any department store and you'll see dinosaurs are on children's clothes, adult clothes, baby clothes, on bed sheets and beanbags. They are in children's books, adult books, baby books, in commercials and product placements. They're used to sell toys for all ages. Not to mention the toys, the countless toys. You would be hard-pressed to go into any toy store in the world and not find a dinosaur toy. It's in our food, between chicken nuggets and mac and cheese to birthday cakes and cookies. It never ends. Look at this list by BuzzFeed and see all the ridiculous products that dinosaurs are used to sell. a taco holder, a god-awful sweater, a pop-up book, an ugly bracelet, a onesie for adults, a hideous beanie, and a matching scarf, a dinosaur in an astronaut suit pin, another stupid pin. The list continues, and the real list is almost never-ending. So I don't want a single comment saying that just asking the question is ridiculous, because it isn't. There's clearly a lot of money to be made here. And I didn't even mention the documentaries and museums that spout this nonsense. So the number that is on screen is probably a conservative estimate of the value of the dinosaur lie. If dinosaurs were proven fake, all that money would immediately just go poof. Now, I wouldn't go as far as the gentleman from earlier had said, that dinosaurs do not exist at all. All I'm saying is that the motive, there is motive, and there are some incredible inconsistencies, which leads me into my next piece of evidence. Evidence 4, Inconsistencies. This was from Tech Reader, and the name of this article is Top 10 Scientific Flaws in the Theory of Prehistoric Dinosaurs. I'm just going to read out the points, and if you want the specifics, I would recommend reading it for yourself. A link, as always, will be in the description. An extinction-level event of this magnitude would have destroyed all life on Earth. Not to mention, not just the dinosaurs. This would be evident archaeologically. That's a very good point. I guess it was a meteor that only burned alive dinosaurs and everything else was unaffected. There would have been enough food, or there would not have been enough food or fresh water for plant-based animals this big to have lived. Yeah, if animals this large existed, why is there nothing alive today that is even close to this size? No one is allowed to question the dinosaur orthodoxy without extremely harsh criticism. This one will be proved in the comment section below of this video. Mark my words. Dinosaurs were too big to have existed within the confines of the laws of physics. Can't wait to see atheists try to defend this one. They would do anything to avoid admitting that they are wrong. Even when their claims defy the laws of nature, they could somehow convince themselves that they are still correct. Unbelievable. Lack of perpetual fossil evidence. Everyone should be finding these bones in their backyards. This is tangentially related to what I mentioned to Paul on Twitter. Why is it that all these fossils are found by people with a vested interest in looking for them? You never hear a story of a random person finding a fossil in their backyard. The reason is because the archaeologists are burying the fossils, digging them back up, and exclaiming, "Look what I have found! A beast! Isn't it terrifying?" Dinosaurs did not exist in mythology in any culture before the 1800s. Once again, this is true. Surely if dinosaur fossils have existed this whole time, some ancient civilization would have found them, and that with the imagination of man, they would have most certainly been incorporated into the mythology or culture of the civilization. A full skeleton I think it's supposed to say of. A full skeleton of a dinosaur has never been found, not even close to one. Now I have to say, I like this article, but I do somewhat disagree with this point. The point is true in the sense that the skeleton, for example, is totally fabricated. But this specimen skeleton has been over 90% recovered, which, keep in mind, is not 100%, but is still pretty high. I will give the article a benefit of the doubt and say maybe Sue wasn't discovered yet, or maybe the author was just unaware of this. But at any rate, the Sue fossil is totally made up anyway. So I included this point because it's still technically true. There is more evidence for the presupposition of dinosaurs than the other way around. This is a very interesting way of phrasing this particular point. There are so many people who will simply refuse to have the discussion about the credibility of the dinosaurs. This is because they've already made up their minds. People that claim to be skeptics are actually some of the most unskeptical people in the world. Even an extinction-level event would not have destroyed the dinosaurs who lived in the deep ocean. This is where the evolutionist worldview really begins to fall apart. The land and the sea are totally different environments. One does not directly affect the other. If all the plants on land die, how does that affect the creatures living in the ocean? They still have the plants and animals, their plants and animals to eat. Nothing underwater would change at all. So where did the massive sea dinosaurs go? And notice how all the dinosaurs from an alleged few million years ago all look so interesting and big. Why are there no plain-looking dinosaurs, like the animals we see around us every day, and don't give a second thought to? So many questions, few answers. Evidence 5. Discredits creationism. This may be the whole reason for the dinosaur nonsense. Now, if you remember in the third piece of evidence, I talked about the motive these people have, and I think this is a big reason the lie continues, and one of the major reasons it started in the first place. But I also think that this idea may have been planted into the minds of power-hungry people by Satan directly. Now, one of the arguments you see against Noah's Ark is, how could the dinosaurs have gotten aboard? Now, creationists have come up with several explanations for this. Some say the dinosaurs went extinct before the flood. Some people like Ken Ham claim you don't actually need 100 giant dinosaurs, you just need a few members, and they can be relatively small. But I propose an even simpler answer. None of these stupid dinosaurs existed in the first place. But that is actually not the point I'm trying to make. I'm trying to say that these dinosaurs have been used for years in an attempt to make creationism look impossible, or at the very least improbable. Along with the questions of the diet of the giant T-Rex before Adam and Eve ate from the tree. If there was no death, then they must have eaten plants, is what the evolutionists will say. Which would be technically true if dinosaurs actually existed, but as I've just laid out, they most likely didn't. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Along with comments from Paul, I've been getting lots of hate from people on Twitter. If you watch my content until the end, you must at the very least be interested in my opinions. If you support me in any capacity on YouTube, I would like to urge you to follow me on Twitter to help me fight back against some of this filth. With that said, thank you for watching until the end. I really appreciate it.